Nearly 1 year ago, LHS had to close due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Since that time, I have been so impressed with all of the adjustments that I've seen our teachers and our students make. And knowing that as adults, most of us never had to experience e-school or hybrid school, I thought it would be fun to show you, the community of Libertyville, many of the innovative ways that our students and our teachers have found to adapt their teaching and learning to this new model of education. In PE, the need for teachers and students to engage in vigorous physical activity makes wearing of masks, sharing equipment, and maintaining social distance particularly challenging. Here's weightlifting teacher Chris Davis explaining how he has set up the room in order to protect student safety and how he utilizes technology to engage his students who are learning at home.
We're using every other rack down here, and we've got some spots on the floor marked off just to kind of serve as a reminder for students about to keep spacing when they're in during the weight room and they're in working out. And then probably the other biggest change too is now we just have, we're much more diligent with the cleaning and of wiping down all the surfaces that everybody touches before and after that we use the equipment. So as part of our workout software that we use to send the workouts to students, it's a platform called AthleticU. On AthleticU, I can monitor everybody's progress from when they're outside the room, so it can see as they input their data from their workouts, I can follow along to see how their workouts kind of progress throughout the day. Because part of what we want to do for classes is get everybody up and moving throughout the day, as opposed to just necessarily maybe feel like they're always kind of tied to that screen. But it's been great to have everybody back in the weight room and to have people back down here and get a chance to use the new room.
In dance, teacher Aaron Brown had to choreograph dances that kept the students' need to move across space to a minimum. This way, students learning in school could maintain social distance, and those students learning at home could dance in their bedrooms or their living rooms. Let's see how she did it.
It's definitely a challenge. This is not the way that dance is meant to be learned, and it's a whole new thing having to learn live over Zoom. So that has been a challenge, but we've come up with many strategies to help the students learn it more effectively. We do live instruction, but if a kid is having a hard time either following because of internet connection or they didn't see it because it happened so fast or on the smaller screen, they can go to the video tutorial and follow along the same thing that I'm teaching in the studio, and they can come back to the class lesson as needed. I think hybrid is actually going really well. With the challenges of hybrid learning, it's never easy, but having the opportunity to dance in person with the students, that's what dancing is all about, so it makes it all worthwhile. Hybrid learning definitely taught me that as an old dog, I can learn new tricks. It's been challenging, but it feels really good at the end of the day to see that we've gotten through the lesson and that it was a success.
I love it a lot more than e-school because I know for me I'm a really sociable person, and so being able to see my friends and just talk with teachers, and e-school for me focus was pretty hard, staying engaged in class was really difficult, and I guess just getting help from teachers. But now with hybrid I feel a lot more focused and organized.
While science classes don't always require a great deal of student movement, chemistry teacher Sherry Rooks had to figure out how to design hands-on lab experiments while still maintaining adherence to all of our COVID-19 health and safety guidelines.
I changed my room that everyone has their own lab station and everyone has their own supplies. Every partnership gets their own drawer, so someone uses that stuff on Tuesday, we wash it, and then it sits there until Friday so that people are not using and reusing. And that's one of the biggest things, is the safety of the whole thing. However, by having their own stations, they're able to collaborate with a small group. I have at-home kits that the kids at home get to do an activity and they share out with the people in class, and then the people here get to do an experiment and share out with them. So it's a big learning experience, and it's getting them to work together as teams and know what collaboration is all about.
In social studies, teacher Kevin O'Neill has set up his classes so students learning at home can participate in discussions and debates with those students who are attending classes in person. Let's check it out.
Even the way you do discussions, the way you collect feedback from the students, the way you find out how things are going, all of those. And a lot of the parts that are the most difficult to change are the little things. you can sit and plan a discussion and say, okay, we'll do a shared doc and then we can come back and do this. But it's the little conversations, or it's the little parts where you can jump in and add something to a conversation. You're relying on a lot of technology. I think we're relying a lot on the good graces of the students to be patient. And so I think it's going well. I think the students are doing well with it, and which I think speaks to their adaptability and their flexibility. You know, there's obviously hiccups, there's obviously all kinds of challenges with it, but it is working, and I feel like the students are getting it. I feel like the teachers are getting better at it, hopefully to never have to apply again. But overall, I've been pretty pleasantly surprised with the success of it.
In fine arts music classes, like band and choir, students need to project their voices and their breath. And this creates a health and safety situation that our teachers had to figure out some special equipment and some special classroom setups in order to keep everyone safe. Let's see how our music department is keeping the music alive.
All of our students are wearing a playing mask, which has a special slit in it with Velcro, so they can put their mouthpiece through and have it very tight around the instrument while they're playing, and then Velcro it closed when they're not playing. We also have a 3-layer bell cover that every student is using that's got 2 layers of fabric and a layer of MERV 13 filter material in between. We also have HEPA filters running in the room to help process the air, and our HVAC buildings and grounds folks have done a great job making sure our air exchange is what it should be. Most of the adaptations and innovations we've had to make for hybrid involve technology. To work with a music class for both at home and in-person setting, we've added the microphones to pick up the class, run everything through a mixer. I'm wearing a lavalier mic all the time, as is Mr. Carnstedt, Mr. Helvey. We've got multiple mics and cameras set up here so that we can see what's going on in the classroom, running everything through a mixer and stereo. So there's a lot of different things that we're doing there. For our at-home students, it's turned into a lot of individual recording. We've had to reach out, make sure everybody has good recording equipment and software so that they can record their parts on their own, and we can assemble them later to make a full recording so that we can have some kind of a concert presentation.
Well, at first, I thought hybrid was just going to be confusing. I thought I would not be able to do it very well. But once I went to my first class, I really liked it. I really enjoyed being back.
My teachers are doing a good job of catering to the people who are in person and at home, both by asking like the different groups questions or doing things specifically for each.
The biggest adaptation is having to create a new classroom. My choir room is too small to have safe singing practice, so we've had to recreate my classroom on the auditorium stage with all the audio, visual, tech that one would have in a normal classroom in order for us to have space to have a safe singing environment. The other thing relates to ways that we've used innovative remote technology platforms so that the students who are singing at home can share with us what they're doing. Once we practice in hybrid, they can make recordings, they can upload them to Google Classroom, we can listen to them, we can give them feedback. I have probably had the best attendance during remote and during hybrid than I've had in 20 years of working at this school. So you could say that kids don't like it, but they're showing up every day. It's very rare that we have a lot of absences, and if we do, it's for a college visit or a doctor's appointment. So I've been surprised that attendance has been so good.
It kind of surprised me how easily it is to go into hybrid, and all my teachers have also just adapted really nicely to it, and they're just like really good at adapting and being able to help students who need help.
I hope you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look at all the unique and innovative ways that our students and staff have been adapting their strategies to get through this pandemic. This has certainly been a challenge for us all, but at this time, our Wildcat spirit and our commitment to our daring mission remain as strong as ever. Thank you for all of your support, and as always, go Wildcats!